This is maybe the most important factor in what's holding you back in life and in business, in personal relationships, in anything. This is what's holding you back and limiting you from reaching your greatness, from reaching your fullest potential. And what am I talking about? We all seem to be attached so strongly to this identity which we think we have. We believe in this identity, and the identity that we believe in is holding us back and not allowing us to operate freely, spontaneously, relevantly in life, in business, and in all our relationships. Hi guys, my name is Eddie Lindenbaum from EddieForLife Coaching and Consulting. And after 40 years in business, I now dedicate my life to helping others, coaching others to break through what's ever limiting them. And one of the most important things that limits us, and in my work that I've done with clients over the years, is this holding on to the identity that they think they have. We believe so much in this identity, we hold on to it. But what is this identity? It's basically a structure within our minds. It's a structure built from our thoughts. And those thoughts are no more and no less than just thoughts. So why should we be attached to our thoughts? Why should we believe in our thoughts more than anything else? Thoughts are just part of reality. They are not reality itself. We see reality, we perceive reality through all our, whatever goes on in our minds, through our thoughts, through our past histories, our conditioning, whatever it is. And we mistakenly think that what we perceive as reality really is reality. And one of those things is our identity. We believe that we are this or that. We believe that maybe we're supposed to be a big businessman or a successful entrepreneur. Maybe we believe that, I'll tell you it on a different side. Hey, I've always been fat. Hey, I've never succeeded as an entrepreneur. Those are thoughts which make up this identity, which we cling to. We hold on to that identity. And that's what screws us up, because whatever we do, in a funny way and in a strange way, that has to conform with the structure, with the identity that we are attached to. What happens then? We don't act freely. We believe we're a certain person, we have a certain identity, and only things which are congruent to that identity we allow ourselves to do or not to do. In other words, let's say a 70-year-old guy gets up on the dance floor and starts dancing like crazy, and he never danced like that before in his life. Why didn't he dance like that before? Because he had some sort of identity that, I don't dance, or that's not the type of thing I should be doing in my position. And maybe at the age of 70, he said, fuck that, I'm going to do whatever I feel like doing, and to hell with this so-called identity. This identity also holds us back from really breaking through all what limits us, especially in business. We have certain thoughts of who we are, what we can do, what we cannot do, what's, something that we should be doing. All this is around this identity that we have of ourselves. In relationships, it's the same thing. Maybe we believe we shouldn't be approaching that beautiful woman at the bar. Or maybe we believe that we should be this or should be that. So our relationships suffer, and we become very stiff, very structured. Everything has to fit in to this so-called identity that we believe we have and that we hold on to so dearly. And the thing is, the only way to break through that and to live our lives freely, again, as free as possible, and not to give a fuck about what everybody thinks or not thinks about us, including ourselves, is to be aware of our thoughts, to be aware of those thoughts which build this structure, and this structure we mistakenly assign as our identity. The way to go about breaking through is all the time to focus on what's going on in our mind, on the thoughts that are coming up in our mind, and not to be attached to them in the same way that we're not attached to our identity. Again, it's not something which can happen overnight. You might even break through and have some sort of vision that you are not who you think you are, and really your identity is just your thoughts. Yet again, because our conditioning is so strong, tomorrow you're going to forget, and you're going to go down the path of your conditioning and the belief of this identity that you have. So it's actually a process of constant awareness, constant focus, and constant training ourselves in order to be mindful of the fact that we keep slipping into this route of mistakenly, or this path of mistakenly thinking that we have this identity, whereas at the same time, we really don't have an identity. We are whatever we are. I think we're much more than any identity or definition that we might tag on to ourselves or allow others to tag on to us. And so this whole thing, this whole jumble of our thoughts is not only what we think we are, but it's also what we think that others believe we are, which is also pretty tough because we keep trying to fit into that slot that will make everybody happy. It's not an easy thing to do, to rebel, to go against all that. I know because my whole life I've been that way. And in the past 25 years on the spiritual path, I've gone very deep in asking myself who I am, what is this I? Yes, there are many, many unbelievable works and books on this subject. One of them is Sri Nisargadatta, who was a great non-dualist living in Mumbai. And one of his books, I think, is I Am That, or whatever, I don't remember. But there's a lot to read on that, and there's a lot to go into other movies and videos on this subject. And yet, to sum everything up in a nutshell, it all boils down to realizing that this structure that we have in our minds, which we call an identity, who we are, is nothing more than just a structure in our minds built up from the thoughts floating within, and mistakenly we hold on to that structure and believe the thoughts. So don't believe your thoughts. Smash any barriers that you have ahead of you. Don't fit yourself into any structure or into any slot or into any concept or definition of what you think you should be, but be who you really are, relevantly, openly, freely, without harming others, but taking care of being the best you can and living the life that you want to live. Don't live your life for others. If you found value in this, and you might need some help or support on this subject, that's the kind of work I do with clients. If you're a middle to big businessman, or if money is not the problem in your life, yet you feel some inner tension and you have stress and you're not fully compatible with who you think you can be, then maybe you and I should have a chat. Reach out to me. We'll schedule something and we'll see how I can support you. Until now then, be blessed, and I'll see you in the next one.